All right, I got another video for you. This one here is Representative Mo. I think it's Mo, what is his name? Mo Khanna, and he wanted to let everybody know. People have been giving Biden a hard time, and he's like, Biden needs to stop trying to earn support from the centrists, because the ones who have turned out to be the best friend for Biden has been the progressives in these recent times. The ones who defended him out of Afghanistan were progressives. The ones who've had his back thus far has been progressives. The ones who are ready to turn on him have been those so-called centrists. Check this out.
As an observer here, I have not understood the motivation of holding back the infrastructure bill. You look at it, this president could use a bill signing pretty badly right now if you look at his poll numbers. And if the only reason this is being held back is because the two sides don't trust each other, then I might look at this and say, well, you're never going to get to yes on either of these, because if distrust is at the center of this strategy, I don't know how you get over distrust.
I think we will get to yes. I think the point is that there are a lot of concerns with the bipartisan infrastructure bill, particularly on climate. People say, okay, we're fine building more highways, but you can't just build more highways if there's not going to be some concern about the climate impact. So let's have electric vehicles. Let's have a civilian core. Let's have some retrofitting. Let's have some clean energy standard. And if you do that, then we're going to build modern infrastructure with climate there. But to just pass, okay, we want to have more highways and roads and not have the climate part, people, including our House Transportation Chair, has concerns with that. But I believe we will get to a yes on both of them.
I want to ask you on the larger philosophy you have on this bill, which is, look, even at $3.5 trillion, to do everything on your wish list. If things get smaller, is your philosophy that you include a little bit of everything and just cut down the size, or do you end up lopping off big programs and do a few things big and right? You see where I'm going here? Do you do a little bit of pre-K, or do you say, you know what, we're going to do all this pre-K. We're not going to be able to do affordable housing this round, or something in that. What is your philosophy? A little bit of everything, or a couple of things big and correct?
Which I don't want to negotiate on Meet the Press when our position is the $3.5 trillion, which is actually the Biden agenda. But I will say this. The progressives have always been willing to have back and forth. We have never drawn a red line. And if the question is, what is the priority? I think the priority is investing in the key needs of the American people, in childcare, in dental, in vision being covered in Medicare, in community college being free. And we can look at how long those investments should last and the scope of those investments. I believe $3.5 trillion was already the compromise. But we have never, look, Chuck, we never did something that those 10 centrists did. Name me a time where the progressives have actually threatened to hold up the agenda. And the irony here is that the progressives have the president's back. We're the ones who've been on TV, on cable news, defending the withdrawal. We're the ones who are saying, let's get the Biden agenda passed. His strongest allies have actually been the progressives in Congress.
And Rokana is actually very correct. The ones who's had the president back has been the progressives. Centrists and these moderates have always been a whole bunch of weaklings. I'm sorry, because they're owned. They are owned. The corporatocracy tells them what to do, how far they can go. That's what it's all about. The progressive has had the man's back, and they've had his back because, for all practical purposes, he has performed for them. Now they're expecting him to perform on the $3.5 trillion. What I would do to guys like Sinema and to women like Sinema and guys like Manchin is to go into each of their in each of their states and ask them, what in this $3.5 trillion that will do XYZ for your state would you like us to get rid of? What would you like us to get rid of? This $3.5 trillion is over 10 years or 8 years, and it's here because of the neglect that we've had over the last several decades. You didn't have a problem spending $2.3 trillion on one war, in Afghanistan, not to speak about what was spent in Iraq, not to speak about what was spent all over the wasteful world of the military industrial complex. So please tell us, of that $3.5 trillion in human infrastructure, what would you like to get rid of? Cinema and mansion. What would you like to get rid of? And that is the question they should be asked. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.